Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. What's happening? First of all, I'm really stoked to be part of this Men's Health Week. I think it's really important with men's mental health and men's general health and looking after themselves. Today, I'm going to be cooking a leek, spinach and white bean pie for you guys in my kitchen. So welcome to my kitchen. This is where I do my cooking because this is my kitchen. Anyway, right, this is the recipe. You're going to need 2 leeks. You need 1 clove of garlic, some fresh thyme. If you haven't got fresh thyme, you can use some dry thyme. It's all good, but fresh thyme is much better. You're going to need a tablespoon of plain flour, about 200 mils of vegetable stock. You may need a little bit more, so just make a bit more just to be sure. A tin of white beans. Now I've got cannellini beans. You can use butter beans if you wish, or any other kind of white bean, and 150 grams of spinach. I've got some filo pastry as well. You're going to need, for the amount of mixture that we've got in the pie, I use about 4 sheets of filo pastry. You can need some nutmeg. I've got some fresh nutmeg, or you can have already powdered nutmeg. I got half a lemon. I used to do other stuff with those lemons back in the day. I used to put them into my eye. Anyway, and you need salt and pepper as well. And you need, don't forget, a dish to put in, an oven dish. You don't really need a big dish because, like I said, the size of the pie, if you had a massive dish, it's just going to get lost. So a pretty, I'd say about 7, 8-inch dish. So anyway, well, I'm here to cook, and I'm also here to tell you my story. From the crazy days of Dirty Sanchez and the party days up until the present day now, where my life is completely different today to what it was many years ago. Years ago, don't get me wrong, it was absolutely amazing. I'm not here to give you a negative message. I'm here to be positive, and to sort of look back on what I've done in the past. Yes, it did give me a kick up the backside eventually, but generally it was fun. It was absolute 24/7 carnage, and I was younger then. And when you're younger, you are reckless, and you do crazy stuff. But I mean, my story started with skateboarding, and I've always said I thank skateboarding for what it's given me today. Without skateboarding, I wouldn't have met the friends that I've got today, and I don't think I would be in this position now doing what I'm doing. So I was first. If you, I'm just going to grab this leek and start cutting up whilst I'm talking to you. So skateboarding, I turned professional skateboarder when I was, I think it was about 21. So I travelled around the world with it and did loads of competitions, demos, all that kind of stuff, hanging out with the team and team riders whilst we were and filming and stuff and making videos. And they were good days, really, really good days. And then, I met Dane Pancho, skating one of Cardiff's famous skate spots called the Cardiff Banks. And then we met Joycey by going to skate comps and doing all that kind of stuff. So that's how I met the other 3 guys to do Sanchez. We made a video called Pritchard vs. Dayton. That then caught the eye of MTV. At the time, Jackass was out, so I think MTV was sort of looking for something similar to Jackass, but the British version. I mean, there's much more of a story to it than that, but I'm not going to go that deep into it. So we went in and we had the meetings and stuff, and then Dirty Sanchez was born. And my life changed from that day, and I'm sure the other boys would say exactly the same thing. Life changed for them as well. And we started filming. And that's when the partying started. That's when the craziness started. And it was mega, mega, mega fun. Good times. Traveling around the world. Basically, we cheated the system. We got paid to try. Basically, we got paid to travel the world, drink, and have a laugh with your mates. So, I mean, you can't complain, can you? But then after many years of doing that, I've got a very addictive personality, and I really enjoyed the party side of things. So too much party product, too much drinking, smoking, and the rest of it eventually caught up with me. And this is where my health, my mental health, my physical health. I'm cutting you, and I'm looking at you, hoping I don't cut my finger off. I mean, back in the day, the Sanchez day, yeah, that's the kind of thing we would have done. But anyway, it took a toll on my physical and mental health, and it was, Sanchez was sort of coming to an end. Everything was starting to finish, and I needed to start looking at doing something a little bit different and start looking after my body. So when I was 15, I'm just going to put some, for anyone, I think this is going to be shared when I'm finished with this. So if anyone wants to do this or cook, or if anyone's there cooking along, just help yourselves. Or if you're not, I think it's going to be shared on socials anyway, so you can get the stuff and then cook along in the house. Right, I got some olive oil in there, and I'm just going to heat that up so we can cook the leeks. So whilst that's heating up, the leeks are all chopped and ready to rock. So yeah, when I was 15, I did the Cardiff Half Marathon, and I thought, I wonder if I can do that Cardiff Half Marathon again after years of drinking and taking narcotics and all that kind of stuff. So I just started training, and I really enjoyed the training part of running. But basically I got addicted to running instead of the other stuff. But at the time it was almost like I did the running, but then that running sort of gave me the permission to go partying. So I was almost like I was burning the candle at both ends to begin with, and it was. I mean, looking back, it was pretty hardcore because we used to go around and do gigs and stuff like that, and I'd get back to Cardiff from the gig and then just go straight out and enter the marathon with no sleep at all and still drunk. I did a few other things as well, but I can't mention them on camera. But I did the marathon. Then I was looking for bigger and better things, and it was the Ironman. I wanted to do an Ironman. I heard one of the skateboarders, Danny Way, he did an Ironman. If anyone out there doesn't know what an Ironman is, it's a 2.5 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and full marathon, 26.2 miles, one after another. So I started looking online because my friend sent me a video of Rick and Dick Hoyt. If you can look on YouTube. So type in Rick and Dick Hoyt. Basically, it's a father with a disabled son, and he swims with his son on a boat. So he pulls him on the boat. Then he puts him in a specially made bike and cycles the 112 miles, and then puts him into a wheelchair and pushes him for the whole marathon. And I saw that, and that was it for me. That just pushed me to look online for the closest Ironman. And the closest Ironman in our country was Bolton. And I signed up and I started training for the Ironman. Started swimming, cycling a lot. I mean, then I didn't have a coach. I didn't know how much you want to do. Looking back, I was absolutely pickling myself. I was swimming until I couldn't swim anymore, and I was doing the same with the bike, and I was doing the same with the run. And that's not you know, that's not how you train. You've got to, you know, you build your swimming, you build your bike, you build your run. And but that's how I trained for my first Ironman. But I did it, and I really enjoyed it. So this is, you know, I started enjoying the fitness side of things more. I was still partying, not going to lie to you, I was still partying, but at the same time I was enjoying the fitness stuff at the same well, basically at the same time. We did then I wanted to do my friend said we were going to run from John O'Groats to Land's End. That's another thing that I said, yeah, I'm cool, I'm up for doing that. So we ran from John O'Groats to Land's End in 30 days. We were running about 30 to 34 miles a day over a 30-day period, and that was tough, man. We had a caravan. There was three of us running, and one of the boys' wife, who was pregnant at the time, she was driving the van and stopping at every 10-mile point to make us food. So we'd fill up, eat some food, get running, do the next 10 miles, and so forth and so forth. And we managed to finish it in Land's End in the 30-day time period. And that was such a great thing to do. And we were actually raising money for a little girl called Elodie, who needed a 50 grand operation in America at the time. So we helped raise some of the money towards that operation, and she got the operation, and she's I haven't heard from her for ages, but apparently I think she's doing really well and everything's all hunky-dory. So that was a really good time. And from there what else did I do from there? I went and did the Ironman Bolton again for the second year running, but this time with not as much training, but I thought I'd give it a go anyway. Pretty much a bit of a stupid idea, because even when you train, it hurts. And when you don't really train, it hurts even more, as you can imagine. So I was in absolute agony, and it took me just over 15 hours to finish it. But I was so happy to cross that line. So we're just waiting for this Leek to sweat off, by the way. You don't want any colour in it, you just want it to sweat it down. And from there I signed up for Ironman Wales. Signed up for Ironman Wales. At the time I started doing boat parties in Ibiza. So I thought, well, if Ironman is in September and I'm going to be doing the season in Ibiza boat parties, I'm going to have to take my bike and my swimming stuff and my running stuff with me to Ibiza to train. But as you can imagine, silly bugger here in Ibiza trying to train. I didn't do the training I was meant to be doing, and I didn't really look at the Ironman Wales course, which is one of the toughest Ironman you can do because of the ascent on the bike and the run as well, and it's a sea swim. But hey, I entered anyway, and literally, I can, looking back, I put myself through mentally and physically was just ridiculous because I didn't really train properly. The bike almost killed me, and I got into the running transition T2 to change into my running stuff, and the guy was there and he said, look, sorry mate, you've missed the cutoff by 8.5 minutes. Was I gutted? Yeah, I was, but at the same time I wasn't, because I was in such bits that if I did make it, I would have tried to do the run and I wouldn't have finished. So he sort of did me a favour. So anyway, that I learned my lesson there, big time, that if you're going to do something, you have to put the hours in, and stop kidding yourself. So that's a good message I can send to anyone out there who's thinking about doing something like an Ironman or anything really, anything based on half marathon, 10k, 5k. Just don't think you can just put your trainers on and just go out there. Well, you can, but it's going to hurt, and you could really injure yourself. But the other good thing about entering these things, it's the journey to it. I really, really enjoy the journey to the actual challenge itself. I did get a coach eventually called Mark Whittle from Whittlefit. He's coached me through many of my endurance challenges, and he normally sends me a training plan, and I follow it. And of course, obviously, it's a sensible training plan. I'm actually building on my swimming, on my cycling, or on my running, or whatever it is I would be doing. And when it comes to actually doing the challenge, my body's ready and I'm ready to rock. So, yeah, that's all good. What else can I talk to you about? I mean, Christ, I've swam Lake Windermere. I did it with my brother. I did it with Colin from Chill Swim. So if anyone watching wants to swim any of the lakes in the Lake District, Colin Hill from Chill Swim. I did it with him. He's an absolutely amazing guy. It's a 10.5 mile swim, Lake Windermere. And me and my brother were going to swim that. We had this idea to swim Windermere. Colin would make sure we were okay in his boat. We'd get out, put our cyclist stuff on and cycle home from the Lake District, and then run from Chepstow back home to Cardiff. Woo, man, that was tough. That swim, because I thought I got a wetsuit on, and we did it in May, and I thought, well, if I got a wetsuit on, it's going to be warm. I jumped in the water, and I was like, whoa, like 6 o'clock in the morning, it was really cold. I thought, well, I'm going to warm up. I didn't warm up. I'll still to this day, I look back and I just go, wow, how I got to the end of that swim, I do not know. We struggled so much, but just kept going. There's no way I was going to give in until I was basically almost drowning. But we got to the other end, and I remember looking at my brother. He took his goggles off and said, he just looked about 70 years old. And I did the same thing, and apparently he started laughing at me. And basically, as we were trying to get out the water, we couldn't stand up because we were so physically knackered. So we had to get a big bag of chips before we did the cycle home, etc., etc. So, yeah, that's another thing. Anyway, I decided when I go running, I find I get some people will say silly ideas, but I think they have my best ideas when I go running. By the way, I'm just going to go and add this garlic into it. I'm just going to shred the garlic. I was going running and I came up with this idea. I thought, what if I can do 30 half irons in 30 days? And that's it would have been it was world record at the time, because I know Iron Cowboy had done 22 official world record, and I wanted to do 30. So I thought, yep, I'm going to give it a go. So I started training for it, and then it was in March 2015. I did it with Jeff and them from Big Moose Coffee. They supported me on the swim, the bike, and the run. Those 30 days was absolutely amazing. I mean, the support I had from people joining me on the swim, on the bike, on the run, was just amazing. And the local vegan restaurant, they sponsored me as well. So after every day that I finished my long day, which was a 1.5 mile swim, by the way, a 57 mile bike ride, and half a marathon, I do that. Then Anna Loca would feed me a vegan meal. But now, don't forget, a lot of people back then were saying doing what you do on a vegan diet, it's not going to be good for you. You're going to be really weak. So in my head, it was just adding some thyme and some flour. Now, keep stirring this. This is weird, man. I'm trying to cook and trying to tell a story at the same time. Just make sure you stir, because you don't want the flour to get caught and burnt, because it'll be horrible. Let's cut that off a little bit. Where was I? Yeah, the support and everything, and the vegan thing, saying you're going to be weak. So in my head, I had a big point to prove. I really wanted to finish the 30 half Ironman in 30 days on a vegan diet, just to show people that a vegan diet, you can do these things on a plant-based diet. And I managed to finish, and man, it felt so good. And literally about a month later, I signed up for the triple Ironman, which was a 7.5 mile swim, 334 mile bike ride, I think it was, and then 70, well, the triple marathon, 75 miles. And I managed to finish that. I can't remember how many hours it took me. But we're gonna add the vegetable. I got posh stuff. I got Tesco's Finest. La-di-da. We're gonna add this gradually. Mix it in, and the flour is gonna soak it all up, so we've got a nice little base. Yeah, I think it took me about 46 hours or something like that. And actually, I remember I fell asleep on the I fell asleep on the bike as I was in the aero position, and I woke up and I was going towards a bush. So I'm just putting the oven on. You need to put the oven on to preheat 180. But doing these, I finished the triple. And doing these kind of things, for me, I really enjoy them. It really does a lot for my mind, especially like I said earlier, the journey to the challenge. Because you every day you're sort of doing, so you have one day off a week, so you're 6 days of the week you're training, and it's keeping your mental health in good check, and it's making you physically fit as well at the same time. So finishing the triple, and this is one thing that not a lot of people know. When you set these big goals, the worst thing for your when you finish them, you've got to realize, and after doing quite a few of them now, this is something I've experienced quite a bit, that you go into a bit of a really bad depression, and because you've done all that work and then it's gone, and then all of a sudden stop. So you really got to try and keep your mind occupied or train down after you've finished doing your challenge, because if you don't, your head starts going south, and I've witnessed that a few times now. So again, after doing such things, I'm constantly looking for the next. I'm always trying to outdo the last thing that I've done. And then the next big thing, as far as doing Ironman is concerned, the next big event is I've done the single, the double, the triple. The next one would be the Quinn, which is 5 Ironman in 5 days, or the Decker, which is 10 Ironman in 10 days. Now, there's 2 formats of the Decker. There's the continuous and there's the 1 a day. Claire from Brutal Events, she was putting on a Decker event. So I cut the Quinn and signed up for the Decker. And that was in 2018, I think it was. And I decided to do the continuous. So the continuous Decker is, I'm just adding this slowly but surely, and I make sure there's no lumps or anything in there. I'm just building up this lovely sauce in here. The continuous is a 24-mile swim, which I did in a 25-meter swimming pool. I actually used the wetsuit. Just going back and forth. I think it's 1,500 lengths, I think it was. So I managed to do that in about 11 hours. And then as soon as you get out of the swim, you start getting ready to do the bike then. And the bike is 1,120 miles on the bike. Going round in 7 mile loops up in York it was. Luckily, the weather was absolutely amazing. Well, the weather was too good, to be honest with you, because it was it was the hottest day ever in the UK. I think it was 41 degrees. And when we were on the bike once, oh man, I tell you what, it was absolute killer. But On the bike, I was doing 21 hours on the bike, and I was doing 3 hours sleep, and that was for 5 days solid until I actually finished the 1,120 miles. And then as soon as you got off, but at the same time, you've got to look after your undercarriage, because you sat on the bike and sat on the seat so long. My undercarriage was red raw, so every single morning I woke up trying to sit on my seat. It took me absolutely ages because it was just ruined down there. Sorry to be a bit graphic, wasn't cooking food as well, but I just want to try and tell you actually what does happen. So you have to keep yourself clean, stop infection from gathering underneath your undercarriage. But I finished it, and then I started the run, and the run was 262-mile run in 1 mile loops. So we're just running around in loops for 262 miles. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I eventually finished just over 10 days. And then it was one of the biggest things that I'd ever done. And I was in bits. My body took months to heal. But then I remember going to Dubai on a skateboard trip not very long after, and then I ended up fracturing my spine. So I was out for 6 months, and then COVID came, and COVID, especially when it comes to health and fitness, there were 2 people in COVID. There were the people who actually took advantage of the time off and did lots of work of themselves, training, running, cycling, and there's the others that sat there, ate and drank too much. But it was hard. It was a hard time for everyone, so you can't really blame people for doing that, to be honest with you. It was there's people that they didn't have any jobs, money was scarce, so yeah, it was a tough time for us all, but we've all got through it. We've all got through the other side, and everything's starting to look hunky-dory, sort of. At least we're not locked down in our houses anymore. So anyway, after doing the... right, I'm just going to add the beans. And then I'm going to add the spinach, 150 grams of spinach. And the spinach will wilt down pretty quickly. So whilst in lockdown, I went for a bike ride in Cardiff. Just because I remember in lockdown, the sun was shining, and the weather was really good in lockdown. So I went for a bike ride and went down to Cardiff Bay, and I bumped into an old friend, John Haskell. He lives on a boat, and he rode the Atlantic in 2011, and so I jumped on his boat with him, and we had a day on the boat down Cardiff Bay, and just hung out with him for a bit. And then I think it was 2 days later, he phoned me up and said, I've spoken to Billy from Monkey Fist Adventures, and he said there's a space on the boat to row the Atlantic from Lanzarote to Antigua. Do you want to do it? And I didn't even hesitate. I'm just, yes, please. I'm bang up for doing it. Obviously, I'll have to check my loved ones first, my fiance, and my business partners and stuff, because I've got a shop in Cardiff City Centre, just to make sure they're cool with it, and they were cool with it. And again, you doing these things, you can't do these things these endurance things without the help of your loved ones and the team that are working with you on getting you past that finish line. So it's although how can I put this? It's a team. It is a team effort. Although it's you doing it, it is a massive team effort, and especially when it came to the rowing. I mean, there was 4 of us on the boat, 4 dudes, and we all have to look. Basically, we all have to look after one another. So it was all a go-go. It's a big, long story because it was COVID at the time and how to get the boat over there and stuff in a pan. Because we were doing it for charity, we were allowed to travel to Lanzarote to do the row. But that's complicated. I'm not going to get into that. But we managed to jump in the boat, and we started our journey across the Atlantic from Lanzarote. The seat as you're rowing, like the seat that goes back and forth, mine started to break, and Billy was like, hang on, whoa, stop. This was in the night time as well, literally almost 24 hours into the row. And I said, we can't carry on like this. So we had to call for the Spanish SOS. We had to, Billy had to chuck in the, it's like a big umbrella, which catches the water so the tide doesn't take you too far. So we had to wait 7 hours for the Spanish SOS to come and pick us up, which was pretty gnarly, pretty scary, man. Don't forget, Billy's done like 3 oceans. Me, Martin and Johnny. It was the first ocean we'd ever done. So, what's going on here, man? This is pretty scary. And then the boat turned up, the SOS turned up, crashed into us, dented the boat. Anyway, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. They pulled us into Fuerteventura. Then we took us 5 days to fix the boat. And then we set off again from Fuerteventura to Antigua. Now, for me, mentally and physically, being on that boat, I've got mixed views. I absolutely loved it. But it was really, really hard. It was so hard, man. But it was an amazing experience. And when actually the film documentary comes out, will be coming out soon. It's finished, so it'll be coming out this year. So you lot will get to see what we went through on the boat going from Fuerteventura to Antigua. It took us 52 days. It was a meat-free boat, 3 vegetarians, 1 vegan, which is myself. Again, showing everybody that just because you're on a vegan diet, it doesn't mean you're going to be weak. It actually got me across the Atlantic. And I had to put on quite 2 stone before I left, so I was 15.5 stone. I've never been that big in all my life. But actually seeing yourself that big, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this stuff to come off. But then when I got to Antigua, 52 days later, I was just under 13 stone. I haven't been that skinny for a very, very long time. But we arrived at 10:30 in the morning, and the party, he turned on the party big time. And still to this day, that is the biggest challenge that I've ever done. One of the most exciting things I've ever done. And again, like I said earlier, that thing with coming back once you've done such a big challenge, that you've got to look after your mind, because you go from I was doing 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 24/7 a day, rowing for 2 hours, eating and trying to sleep for an hour before we go back on the boat again to row again. You're doing that constantly every day. The endorphins in your body are kicking off. You're buzzing all the time. You're getting this legal high. So as soon as you get back home, it's all stopped. So your head's going to go bang. So you have to keep busy. And I signed up for the Backyard Ultra, where you run around a loop for 4 miles every hour on the hour. So I had something to keep me busy. But because I hadn't stood up for 52 days on the boat, my legs were pretty much non-existent. They were. I went to go for a run. I remember my first run back 2 miles. I was absolutely knackered. So I thought, I've got a lot of work to do here before I get to this Backyard Ultra in a few months' time. So it kept me busy. So I'm just getting this off the heat. I'm trying to explain this. This is pretty much almost done, if you'd like to see it. But yeah, so that's the inside of the pie. And we'll fill this in a minute. So yeah, I kept myself busy by running. I kept my mental health and my physical health busy by doing running, and it did help. But when the event actually came along, I can't remember what I did. I think I did about 50 miles. I really wanted to do more. I wanted to do the elusive 100 miles, but man, it was hard going. But I was happy with the 15 miles. And I think after that 15 miles then, 50 miles, and I got home, I didn't have anything to do. And I did sort of go downhill a little. Well, I wouldn't say a little bit. I went downhill quite a bit. But then I thought I'm going to have to do something about this. So now, like, what I need in my life is a routine. And if there's anything I can give, a message I can give to you guys out there, is try and get yourself a routine, because a routine is so important. And my routine when I'm home now, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes maybe at 3:30. But normally 4 o'clock, I call it the 4 a.m. club. I get up, I either go to the gym, I do something physical, I either go to the gym, I either go swimming in the sea, I go for a run, I'll go for a bike ride, or I'll go up a mountain with my dog Lemmy. So that's what I'll do first thing in the morning. And then I get back and I'll take, if I haven't gone up the mountain with Lemmy, I'll take Lemmy for a walk around Rough Park Lake and stuff. There's nobody around at that time in the morning. It's so peaceful and I absolutely love it. It's great. It's great for my head. I don't like being around lots of people. I'm quite a hermit, really. When you think about it, I just enjoy at that time of morning. It's just dead, and it's just great. And I get back in here in the house. I make myself a big protein shake and stuff with my food blender. Take it with all my supplements and stuff, and then I start my day and do what I need, whatever's on the cards. And I go to bed. I go to bed at about 9 o'clock in the evening, ready to wake up early again. In the night time for me, there's nothing on TV. I don't really enjoy TV. I've stopped watching the news as well. I don't read the newspapers. I don't want to listen because for me, that the news, the newspapers, all that stuff's just negative stuff, and it's really bad for my head. And I'm sure a lot of you out there will agree with me on that. So I try and stay away from all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you run into it on social media and stuff, but hey, you can't. I just try my best. So for me, my physically, to keep myself well, that's what I do in the mornings. I always do something. And for the mental side of things, just try and keep that routine going and try and stay away from listening and reading too much rubbish. I almost swore then. Right, anyway, let's go back to this cooking. Let's put this mixture into the pie dish. It's smelling absolutely... God, do you know what? If you see my YouTube channel, you know I always forget to put stuff in. I'm going to have to put this back in because I haven't put the... Sorry, guys. I haven't put the lemon juice in yet. Hang on a minute. Right, you need some lemon juice. A little bit of lemon juice, and we're gonna with the Tito, and we need the nutmeg. Get a little bit of nutmeg and salt and pepper. God, Lord, it'd be if I pulled that out of the thing, would have tasted it. I'm like, oh Christ, that's so bland. Right, we need to mix that in. And then we'll put it back into the dish. That's me talking and trying to cook at the same time. Bad workman always blames his tools. You have a little taste of that now. With a bit more salt, a bit more pepper. But apart from that, that is burning. Right, now we put it into the dish. The spinach is wilted. The leeks have sweated down. The nutmeg and the lemon juice is in there now. And now we're gonna just clean the edges of this, just so from where I tipped it out. Now if you flatten the pie mixture down like so. Here we go, if you want to see, pie mixture's in there. Now, we need to get the filo pastry. Filo pastry, you can buy it in the shops. Who makes pastry from scratch these days, unless you're like a top class chef and top class restaurant? Not many people do. So, you can get this. This is vegan filo pastry. Most of the pastry out there is actually vegan if you have a look at it. Now, get the sheets out. As you know, filo pastry sheets are very fine. And we're going to roll. Can you see? Yeah. They're almost like A4 bits of paper. Right, we're going to open these up. Now you're going to need, don't take the filo pastry out of the bag until you're ready to get it out, because it will dry up and it'll get hard and it'll start breaking up. So keep it in the bag. And then get yourself some olive oil and a brush. And then brush the top of the filo pastry. I hope you enjoyed my story there. I mean, and I hope it's helped. If there's any men and women who are watching this today, if you are setting yourself goals to maybe do a marathon, half marathon, 5K, 10K, Ironman, whatever it may be, but get this up now and you just scrunch it up so it's very rustic, and just put it over the top like that. So you've got a nice scrunchy top. I'm gonna use about 4 sheets. So yeah, if you guys are training for anything, then have some fun. You've got to enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. It's fun, man. And I guess for all those who are married out there, like you see on the Ironman courses, the women have got the big things up saying, in 140 miles, I'll have my husband back. Because it takes 9 months of hard graft to get fit and ready for full Ironman distance. When you're doing the doubles and the triples, then yeah, well, you can imagine. I mean, most of the doubles and triples, quins or deckers, are normally a lot. You can't really train for that distance. It's all up in the head. It's up to you whether you can still keep going or not. Like, that's the second bit. And if you're not signed up for anything, then go look for something, man. Sign up for it. Trust me, it's fun. Don't forget, we've got the Sleeping Your Dead events. We go to allonorthingevents.com. We've got swimming events, triathlons, do swims in the sea, guided swims and stuff. So we've got lifeguards, everything to look after you. It's all safe. We've got boats and stuff, so everything's all good. But if you follow me on my socials, Pritchard SWID on Instagram, I normally give you all the updates about the swims and all that kind of stuff, which Simon Webb from All or Nothing Events looks after. And we've had quite a few swims already this season. So you're more than welcome to go down and join everybody else down there. If you're not signed up for anything, or you don't want to sign up for anything, and you do want to start your health journey or your fitness journey, then I always say running is the easiest out of all of them. You've got your door there, just put your trainers on, got the door, and run. It doesn't have to be 26 miles, it doesn't have to be half marathon. If you can only do 1 mile, just do 1 mile, come back. And guarantee. And another thing, running as well, or if you're feeling down or you're feeling low, go out the door and do some exercise, you come back a different person. And running is very good for that. Like I said, it's easy. You just put your trainers on, run out the door, come back, a new man, a new head, everything. And you look at life in a different way. So, and a lot of people, you'd be surprised that when people do start running, like a lot of people do the couch to 5K and stuff, when they start running and they start their fitness journey, they realise how much they really enjoy doing it. And next thing you know, they're running 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, full marathons. So you never know. Give it a whirl. Trust me. It will, for that, it's so good for your head. Honestly, it's just the best. Right, now, the pie's done. It's good. It's got the lemon in there. It's got the nutmeg in there, the salt and pepper, the spinach, the beans. And this is what I mean by rustic. You just scrunch it all up, look. And then you shove it into the oven, 180 for 25 minutes. And this is what I've done earlier. I always wanted to say that. So I Blue Peter when I was a kid, man. This is what I did earlier. This is what I did earlier. This is a little crunchy at the top. I'm actually going to give this to my parents tonight for dinner. And the one in there, I'll be eating for my dinner. So that's me pretty much done. I hope you enjoyed following the pie and the recipe. If you are going to cook it, enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy the taste of it. And I hope you all enjoyed my story. Yeah, that's what I've got to say. I'd like to thank the Royal Voluntary Service for asking me to do this. Really appreciate it. And everybody, look after yourselves. Look after your physical and mental health. And let's celebrate Men's Health Week together. Bon voyage, au revoir. Thanks so much, guys. And if there's any questions, I will answer them on the comments on Facebook when I'm done here, because I can't see anything on the board because I think I need glasses. I'm going to eat this. See you later.